The Oconto County Reporter printed incorrect voting instructions for the town of Little Suamico.
The Oconto County Clerk says that was her mistake, and she's reassuring voters now the ballot instructions are correct. Maria Parmigiani spoke with the Oconto County Clerk on how it happened and how voters can be reassured it does not affect their votes. Maria.
Cammie, the voting instructions in the paper said vote for not more than 2, but the ballot will say vote for not more than 4. Kim Petletsky, the Oconto County Clerk, took ownership of her mistake. While the online paper reflected the corrected version, as soon as the mistake was found, the weekly paper won't go out until Wednesday of next week. A post on Facebook explaining the situation has already been up for several days, and the clerk says the ballots have always had the correct information.
The most important part of this story is that the ballots are correct. This is isolated to a newspaper article. Because there's no ability to make a correction, the next edition of the newspaper would not come out until after Election Day.
Petletsky urges voters to read those instructions on the ballot closely and thoroughly, and again, never at any time would the ballot have any incorrect information. She urges voters to get out there and vote. Voting ends on April 1st. Live in the newsroom, Maria Parmigiani, Action 2 News.